Hey all, I have a great episode here for you with a good friend of mine, Mr. Simon Flack, who's now heavily involved in safety with DSS Plus. The key I think you're going to find is how much this episode around safety ties to operational enterprise excellence, leadership behaviors, but also systems. It's a really great insight for me. I know you're going to gain a lot and really lean into the win-win here. That is that play between, you know, keeping people safe, driving morale and energy, and getting all the other outcomes you get through enterprise or operational excellence. Let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Enterprise Excellence Podcast, where we share knowledge from global experts and practitioners in how to embed excellence for sustainable results. How to create a culture of continuous improvement and innovation using best practices in operational excellence, customer experience and sales, leadership, strategy, people development, and environmental and social good.
I'm your host, Brad Jeavons, coming to you from Brisbane, Australia. Enhancing an organisation's ability to continuously improve and innovate at all levels creates amazing results. Up to 10 times productivity improvement, customer and employee experience increases, as well as safer operations and reduced environmental impact. Unfortunately, most programs deployed to enhance the company's ability to improve and adapt fail to deliver. A select few have overcome this trend and truly embedded excellence. This show explores these organisations and steps you can take to improve yours. This show is proudly brought to you by the Enterprise Excellence Community and Group, which is focused on helping organisations embed excellence for sustainable results and a better future. Through the group, you can attend workshops focused on the most important topics to embed excellence. You can also get hold of free resources from the download section of the website, or reach out to one of our members for some advice and help. Visit enterpriseexcellencegroup.com.au to learn more. Welcome to episode 209 of the Enterprise Excellence Podcast. It is such a pleasure to have Mr. Simon Flack on the show with us today. Simon has a massive background in operational excellence and now safety with DSS Plus. You can listen to our previous episode together on show number 139 on visual workplace and systems. Today, we're together to discuss safety excellence. Let's get into the episode. Simon, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Brad. It's great to join you.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. So here we go. Operational excellence, background. Why the move into safety excellence?
Look, it was kind of a natural transition. So DSS Plus, like our heritage is out of DuPont, and we're very strong in operational risk management. So it was an easy transition for me. But from a personal aspect that really drives me is my dad was involved in an industrial accident when I was preschool. And recently he had a significant birthday. And as the oldest son, it was up to me to make a speech and tell all the people, how good of a bloke my dad was. And when I reflected on that, my memories of this accident came back up. And then I thought, what would have happened that day if he didn't come home from work?
Mm.
And look, it was dumb luck that prevented him from being injured or even killed that day. And look, I don't want anyone to have to rely on dumb luck to get the opportunities that I've had in my life from my father. So, that's what really drives me. It gets me up every day and, drives me to work with individuals and organizations so we don't have to rely on dumb luck when it comes to safety.
Yeah, it's great, mate. I'd say it's always been in your journey to end up doing what you're doing now. Like, especially how sticky that memory is to you, because not many memories stick from preschool. So that one really stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, mate, what are some of the key steps organizations can take to improve their safety culture and safety system? Like, how do they go about it? Because there's a big mission there, isn't there? It's like, let's have every father and mother come home at least the way they went to work.
Yeah. Look, so first of all, it's an underlying belief that all injuries can be prevented. Look, and I honestly believe that. And if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be doing what I do. So that's the underlying belief that we have. Things go wrong, and we've got to accept that. but we need to do everything we possibly can to prevent injuries when things do go wrong as well. So really the first step of any organization is to really understand where their culture is. And I'm sure you've heard of the Bradley curve, and that's our IP that we use to plot organizations on their maturity journey.
Yeah, really good model. Really good model. And mate, what if we just talk about that Bradley curve? Because I know at the top of it there's some pretty clear indicators. Like if we don't, let's not talk all the detail because there's so much detail that people can gain value from. But just the top bar, mate, what is that sort of levels you can be at? Do you mind just explaining to the listeners and maybe a bit of why
For,
the maturity goes the path it does?
for sure. So we go through 4 stages of maturity, from reactive to dependent, then independent and interdependent. Now, most of the people that I work with are in a dependent culture where people do safety because it's the rules, and it's a real compliance-based culture. And every organization needs to be there at some stage, because that's where your health and safety management systems get established, or your policies and processes, really get embedded, and it's required. And it's okay as long as you have a desire to move and improve that maturity as well. So that's the real big step, is the step from dependent to independent, where we're moving from compliance to commitment, and people are doing safety because they're connected with their why and their organizational why, and they're doing it because they know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I love it. And Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this where you get to that level where you'd ask someone like, what safety mean to you guys and ladies? And they might say, like, Brad, we're all mates. We've got each other's backs. We need to do the right thing today out there in the field, but we also need to look out for each other.
Absolutely. So that's right at the top end of the maturity, which is where we want all organizations to be. But underlying that is the personal why. So I'm staying safe because I want to spend time with my family. I want to provide with my family. I want to give my children the opportunities that I had growing up. And that's where it really belongs. And, I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do, rather than I'm scared about what would happen if I don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I know my boss is going to be on my tail if I don't do this, but like you said, mate, there's a journey that companies have to go through that phase to get the mechanics in place. So there might be a journey. It'd be interesting. You sort of know it, mate. I don't know if you ever went yourself to BHP Yandy during your BHP years, but I know when Rob Telford came on the podcast and did an amazing show about that. But I know when I was out at Yandy, I would go to any pre-start mop, which is their visual meeting. You know a lot about that. And I would say, what safety mean here, guys? What is it to you? And that's when they would say, look, we're all mates. There is stuff that could hurt us out there today, Brad, but we got to look out for each other. We got to do the right things. And that was just, I really hadn't got that level of intensity at a site before that I felt there, and how sticky it was. It was just everywhere.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I don't know I don't know what journey they fully went through to get to that stage. Like, to me, that was level 4, but I don't know the journey through the compliance phase with that. I'll have to have a chat to Rob at some stage.
Yeah. And everybody's journey is different, of course. So each organization culture is unique to them. And through that. But it really stems on risk and how we perceive and tolerate risk. Because at the end of the day, we have to produce a product, or we have to live our lives. We can't wrap ourselves completely in cotton wool and remove all risk. Like, it's just like, there's no fun in that. And everybody has a different awareness of risk and what they consider risky or not. But then the next part of that is their tolerance to risk as well. So one thing that I like to work with people is, people take risks because there's a personal gain in that. And that personal gain could be financial, or it could be it's quicker, it's easier, but there's always something that drives the person to take risk. And if they take the risk and it's successful, they have like a micro win. And as these micro wins start to build on each other, then the tolerance to risk increases over time as well. Now, that will continue, and that's fine. And she'll be right until it's not.
Mm.
So we don't want to get to the point where it's not all right. So one of the things that also really important in huddles is our safety shares, because we want to talk to people about like occasions out there, like a near miss. And if someone has a near miss in one of the situations that are similar to the person where they've got a high tolerance to risk, a near miss story can actually start to reset that tolerance and bring it back down. So talking about near misses and incidents at other places is super powerful in really moderating or regulating people's tolerance to risk.
Mm. Such a good point, mate. Even in that story you told, I felt some of my tolerances to risk start to unravel and those stress points come up. And it's so true. I've found that piece massive, particularly at the front line. Like a lot of frontliners around the world don't even have a huddle, or they don't even have any measures or aspirations they own around safety. They might do a once a month safety toolbox. And I found a dramatic improvement, just like you said, around that, really leaning into how we run the huddle and how we get ownership and even accountability there for them too, and that constant conversation. The other thing I found, mate, and I'm keen to bounce this off you on the same sort of topic, is then Gamba, leaders' ability to lead from the front, to look, listen, and learn, not to dominate, not to tell, but to look, listen, and learn, which is Chris Butterworth's language I'm using there.
Yeah. Look, and what we encourage leaders to do is turn up as a visible, felt leader.
Nice.
So we want people to lead through care, curiosity, and humility, and really have their front line have a felt experience of their leadership. So taking the time, to get out there, to know your people and understand them, and really help reinforce, their why.
That's cool. And that's at the heart of respect too, isn't it? Like, I think I love it's the saying I heard from Wayne Bennett when we did that case study in that Leading Excellence book. They won't care until they know you care. And
Absolutely.
to me, that seems to resonate with what you're saying there.
Yeah. Like Wayne, let's be honest, Wayne is a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But he's a people manager.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't come up with all these fancy plays. He has people to do that for him. But Wayne's a people manager, and he gets the best out of people because he cares.
Yeah. And he's quite an extreme introvert too, which just goes to show you don't have to be the most flamboyant out there extrovert to be the most amazing people leader. If not, it could be the opposite in some regards.
Absolutely.
So, mate, I love this. Like, it's first of all, know your maturity. And then secondly, like, there's this piece around how we run huddles and how we engage in those constant conversations and who owns that and getting that empowerment. There's a piece around leading with authenticity at the front and, showing up and understanding them and show you care so that they know then they care. What other ingredients are you finding, mate? Because you've exhausted my bucket of knowing the levers to pull. What else are you finding really cuts through?
So the other thing, and this goes back to our first chat we had in our first episode we did, is people need to know the score.
Mm.
Like people, you turn up at a sporting event or like a local sporting event where there's no scoreboard, and you sort of find your way to the sideline, you look around. The first question you ask someone, apart from how you doing, is what's the score?
Mm.
So knowing the score is super important. And, if you want to go back and look at or listen to our previous one, we spoke about, that, and people need to know the score, and it has to be in control of the people there.
Yeah.
So super important is get the scoreboard up, let people know how they're traveling, and then we can go into our problem solving tools if a problem arises.
That's neat. And with them owning it, mate, I'm guessing you're referring to like leading measures or behavioral measures then that people can actually control.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no point putting a measure on a board. Like there's some interest in that, but the measures on a board or wherever that is needs to be under the control of the people that are there, so they can move the needle.
Mm.
Without that, then there's no point. Like we want to encourage better behaviours, more positive behaviours, and the way to do that is show people when that's happening.
Yeah, great call. Now, mate, you mentioned then solve your biggest problems at the root cause, and I love that. And I'm seeing out there too, it's like I feel like root cause in some regards is getting lost, not fostering in a lot of industries. But what makes you reference that, mate, that then it's about the team working to solve problems at the root cause or their biggest problem?
For sure. So the people doing the work, and go back to our lean principles and respect the operator. Look, the person at the front line knows what's going on better than anybody. But we sometimes just need to teach them to see. And I'm sure we've done lots of that before. But for them, opening their eyes and seeing things a little bit different is super powerful. Our brain helps us, but also hinders us in this situation, because our brain's trying to conserve energy all of the time, because it's like a power hungry, let's call it a machine. It's not a machine, but it takes a lot of our energy, our cells out to operate our body. Now, when we're doing a routine task, we start to not see things around us. So having someone come in and triggering people to switch on to their environment and see the risks that have been normalized, or, our tolerance of risk has risen, is really important for that too. So when we're setting up problem-solving teams, we really need someone that's a little bit away from the situation, just to bring in that different thinking.
I guess it links back a bit to Gemba and leaders leading with authenticity too. That's another way to bring those different eyes to a workplace as
Absolutely.
well, to wake people up. Now, mate, here's a big topic I'm keen to chat to you about, because this gets debated a lot, is that we can go nuts on trying to do root causes all over the place and solve everything, and even get down to like there was a crack in the path, or a mat lifted up or something. Where's your stance there, mate, on how people should go about doing root cause and improvement in their team? Like by way of volume, particularly because safety, you can go nuts and maybe you're going to say to me, Brad, nuts is good, but I'm keen to get your thoughts.
Look, I think the first step is defining the problem. And I think it was Henry Ford that said, I can't remember who it was, but someone said, if I had 24 hours to save the world, I'd spend 23 and a half hours defining the problem and 30 minutes solving it. And couldn't agree more. Like, you need to understand what you're trying to achieve for a number of reasons. One, have you been successful or not, to start with? And then there's no point boiling the ocean. You need to get right down to the thing, the root cause of that problem. So
the big risks. The big risks.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say don't go nuts. Like, sometimes you have to go nuts, but for each situation is going to be different there. But before you start, set out what your intentions are, spend time defining the real problem. And then it's going to, be like a funnel. You're going to get in onto the root cause and fix the issues quicker.
Yeah, and then move on to the next big one.
Absolutely.
Hey, Matt, I think I don't know if you'll be able to answer this one for me, because I think that statement, I think it comes from Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits. I think the sharpen the saw bit or something there, I think. But is it true, or do you know if it's true or not true, if the Stephen Covey's 7 Habits did play an influence on the Bradley curve too? I don't know. I think I've heard the two are connected. I don't know.
I'm not aware of a connection there.
Okay. Might have just been hearsay that I heard from someone at some stage.
Could have been. But both really valid. Both, they both complement, and lots of the models that we use complement each other.
Well, they're all looking at best practice, aren't they? And so, of course, there's going to be overlap, because what Covey's looking at for the 7 habits and what we're looking at on keeping people safe. But also, you and I talk operational excellence. I feel like we're just talking an operational excellence podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's all interconnected because it's all about working with humans, isn't it? And
absolutely. Yeah, it sure is.
yeah, so mate, I got that. So you got the get your maturity, know where you are, and you can then go forward. Um, then really engage the front line, the huddles, lead from the front with authenticity, Gemba, help people prioritize, get to the root cause and the biggest risk, the biggest problem, solve it, go on to the next one. Any others, mate, that you'd add to this as key focal points?
Celebrate success.
Yeah, love it. Yep.
How often do we forget to acknowledge people for their efforts? Look, end of the day, what we want is discretionary effort out of people.
Mm.
Like people can go okay, like go along and travel okay and do good.
Yeah.
But we want people to do a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Whether that's safety or operational excellence, we want that discretionary effort. So acknowledging people's successes, and sometimes when things don't go right as well. But also look for the quiet person, because not everyone is a superhero. And in fact, often we reward superheroes for taking risks. We just need to break through that and look for the people that are really delivering the value for our organizations.
Mm. I can see why you've got into safety, mate, both from your past experience in your life, but also, like, I just feel like we're talking about operational excellence here or enterprise excellence. And I'm guessing there's that other part with what you're discussing here. There's a total win-win. You do what we're discussing in your organization, you're going to get amazing safety outcomes, but you're also going to get all the other beautiful outcomes of operational excellence.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Bradley curve actually shows that. So
nice.
as we progress in maturity, our operational excellence levels lift. So incidents come down, operational excellence lifts, and we have a safe and productive workplace. And what's the point of being productive if people are getting hurt or worse?
Yeah, it's not sustainable. You're actually getting the right productive outcomes. I understand too, but mate, the results you get through this path on productivity are far greater than that top-down driven type command and control productivity. It actually outstrips it by a long way, like over 100% top uplift.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, we need leaders in the organizations to lead. And sometimes they need to manage, but we need them to lead. And leading is engaging with the front line.
It's where everything happens. Unfortunately, it's also where injuries happen, which is why this is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, so true.
So, Simon, key question I got is, how would you recommend an organization go about this now? And feel free to mention the part that DSS Plus would play here. How do they go about it? Number one, they're going to get their maturity assessed. But how do they go about it from there with you guys?
So we would co-design a program with the organization. So we have a number of tools and techniques that we have that we've used successfully in the past, but it doesn't fit for every organization. And we work across lots of different industries, from aquaculture to heavy industry and mining, and even in education. So it's really around spending time and co-designing a program for each organization. So certainly it's not a one size fits all. But the first step is to have the drive to make things better for your people and for your organization.
Too true. And get that. And I understand too, mate, that you even help with that. You can even help instill that drive in leaders if that is like the starting point for a tailored journey.
Yeah, look, coaching plays a super important part in this of everyone in the organization. So just honing our leadership skills through coaching, and even coaching as leaders, is going to make the changes sustainable.
Yeah, too true. So I know you've been involved in journeys, mate, where companies link that to culture and get clear on behaviors with that. what's your thoughts now that you've been part of DSS Plus and focusing on the safety industry? Is that just as important, connecting to culture and getting clear on some key behaviors, leadership behaviors?
Maybe more so.
Okay.
Look, organizational culture drives everything. And we need a productive and safe thinking that supports that culture. And it's a journey, and it takes time and effort, and sometimes it's tough.
Yeah.
But that produces success.
Mm.
Sometimes it can be easy too.
Yeah. Well, there's no bigger success than, people going home, at least the way they came to work every day. That's a massive success. But like you said, there's upside across the board. There's productivity, there's quality, there's customer engagement, there's employee engagement, there's every aspect to get, which is amazing. What do you feel, and I'm throwing a curveball question at you here, with there being complete upside, there's no lose, massive upside on everything. What do you feel stops companies tearing after this like crazy versus just stuck in the whirlwind?
Look, I think that's the realization that things can be better. Look, most companies, if they are surviving, they've been successful in some way, and they're okay. And I guess then it becomes to the journey from good to great. Look, if you want to be a good company, good for you. But if you want to be a great company, that's a whole different journey, and that realization that we want to be better than we are today.
That's it. The scary thing for me when we talk about this, but mate, is that you and I know that staying a good company, you're going to hurt more people in your time than if you become a great company. And that's a pretty heavy topic to talk on. It's pretty heavy when you start talking about people's lives and injury and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, you can stay good, but do you know you're going to keep hurting more people in your whole journey than if you really sweat to become great? Do you know that there's potentially a path that you could end up going bankrupt or having to get sold when things become tough versus you could sustain and keep going? Like, it's interesting when you think like that.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful not to become righteous.
That's right. But that's when the senior leadership buy-in is so important. Look, they steer the direction of the organization, and if they have that realization that they can be great and that zero harm is achievable, like once you get that belief, then everything opens up.
Yeah. And zero harm with all the other wonderful outcomes.
Correct.
It's it's like you want your net profit to be better and you want to perform better for your shareholders, and okay, target one of these journeys. And hey, at the same time, let's stop hurting so many people and let's crank up performance. Yeah, I sound a bit like a bit too righteous here. I'll pull back. Hey, mate, with yourself then going forward, just picture you with someone in an elevator, you got 2 minutes. What would be your 2-minute tip to them on this topic? Senior leader.
Yep. To lead with care, curiosity, and humility. Look, have your people have a positive experience of your leadership. Spend time to understand and connect their personal why with the organizational why.
Nice. That's awesome. Mate, and Simon, on your journey, you've had massive insights, I'm sure, mate, because you haven't totally changed your career because you're still working in the same space, but with a whole new focal point. But what's been a recent insight for you?
The people. So actually working with people. So people's realizing that things can be done differently is one of the big ones. Like, it doesn't need to be the way it's always been. Like, let's challenge the status quo and make it better.
Yeah, too true, and go forward. I guess the more I know you and I going forward and everyone else involved with us, it's like, how can we trigger that passion in more leaders or senior leaders and board members to really help people be safer, but also drive greater performance? It's brilliant, mate. So I appreciate everything you have done, mate, and everything you're now doing in this very important area. I didn't realize your personal connection. It's been amazing hearing about that today, and now that you really get to live it, I'm sure it's taken your journey to a whole new level. But Mate, how can people reach out to you or DSS Plus if they want to learn more about the Bradley curve and know where they're at, get help, get moving forward?
Yep. So our first step is really our website. So consultdss.com. There's lots of information on there that you can chase up. And of course, you'll have my contact details after this. So you can reach out to me anytime. And I'd love to have a chat with anyone and share my passion for keeping people safe and helping people, being able to give the experience for their children and partners and families that I was fortunate enough to have.
Yeah, it's an amazing purpose, isn't it? I really appreciate it. And everyone too, remember you can go back to the previous episode with Simon, which actually goes deeper into some of these topics we've spoken about on 139. Thanks again, Simon, for you have done, mate, and you're going to continue to do with passion, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
Bye for now. What a great episode. Remember, you can go to the Enterprise Excellence Group website to be able to get hold of more information under resources on all these topics of operational enterprise excellence. And you also look up the Bradley curve and learn more about that and DSS Plus. Simon really gave me a lot of insight, especially around that connection to operational excellence systems and leadership behaviors and how connected the two are to achieve amazing safety outcomes and connection to purpose and motivation, but also employee engagement, productivity, quality, everything that goes with it. It's truly a win-win outcome. And you sort of think to yourself, why wouldn't every company just go for it like crazy? Because it's going to give that ultimate result most boards are after, which is safety, but also profitable financials that come out of it and sustainability of the enterprise. The other key insight for me was actually just learning about Simon's background and that connection and memory to his father's near miss that then really brings to life this strong purpose for him going forward. And Simon mentioning that being able to connect the individual around their purpose and their why in life to safety and the broader organization's purpose is something I see done rarely in companies, but I know when I see it done, and I've done it myself in the past, it drives rocket fuel in energy and improvement and performance. Thanks again for your knowledge and insight, Simon. Thanks for everything you have done and will continue to do to help us create a safer, better future for our kids to come. Bye for now.